Hello, in this video I'm going to be going over what I've done to my Ford 6000 Commander to get it up and going again. A little backstory in the tractor: I bought it about 2 years ago with a couple other tractors, and this one wasn't running. It was sitting in the swamp of guy's backyard for a long time, and I got it home. It was sitting out back behind the shed. I tried getting it running. Got the motor free. It would spin over and try to fire up on one or two cylinders a little bit, but never would run. So this winter I decided to drag it in the shop, and this is what I've done to it to get it going since then. Stay tuned if you want to see the rest of the video. Okay, got the head off. You can see which ones were firing or trying to fire. Number 5 and number 3, where 1, 2, 4, and 6 still have oil and ATF in them for me trying to get it to run. Heads off. Okay, took the oil pan off now, and it's a good thing we took it off because it's absolutely gross with carbon buildup and crap from sitting. Definitely needs cleaned out good. The bottom end of the motor though don't look too bad. Okay, I got the pistons out. As you can see the crank down there. They're a little more gross than I was anticipating when I first looked underneath. As you can see, they're not very pretty, but the reason it wasn't running is, as you can see, number 2 here, none of the rings are out. Number 1 has half of the first ring out, and the oil control ring is disgusting looking. And the rest of them aren't much better, except for the 2 that were firing have at least 2 rings that are mostly out, like there. Number 3 that was firing is out completely in the number 1 ring. The bearings don't look too bad. They got a little bit of scarring in them. So I've got the rings off now. Pistons cleaned up as best as I can. Not covered in gunk anymore. Sprayed them down with oil after I got them cleaned off. But as you can see, I broke quite a few rings getting them off the pistons. But I have new rings and oil control rings to put on. Don't have new bearings, unfortunately. I don't think I can get any from what I've found. They're different than the gas motor of this version. Got the oil pan cleaned up. That looks 100 times better. I did a little bit of honing in the cylinders. You can't see, I did a flashlight, but I need to do a lot more work yet with the hone, especially this number 1 has quite a bit of pitting on it. But yeah. Okay, I did a little honing so far, but it needs a lot more yet. As you can see, number 1, where it was rusted fast, has some pitting right there. Pretty much all the way around. That one's going to take the most work. So, I got 2 different hones with 2 different grit on it. Work at it a little bit here, see how far I can get. Okay, I did 1 and 2 a little more. I'm going to work on number 3 here for a little bit. Got the new rings installed on the pistons. What I did was I got 2 sets of rings for a 223 gas motor, because the gas motors only have 2 rings per pistons instead of 3, so I had to get 2 sets to get enough rings for the diesel pistons. Now I gotta do some more honing yet. Clean up the bottom end really good. It's still some gunk up underneath, and I can slap it back together. Okay, I got the cylinders honed as best I can do. 1 and 2 are not that pretty, but I worked on them for a long time and they just didn't get very good. This thing was sitting with water in it for a while at some point. Got the bottom cleaned up decent. Didn't come out too bad. Got all the gunk off of everything. The crank came out good. Wiped it all down. Blew it off. I took the oil pump apart. Took those 4 bolts out and inspected that. Looks pretty nice inside compared to all the junk that was in the bottom of the pan. Now, time to put pistons back in, caps back on the connecting rods, and put the oil pan back on, and then the head. Okay, I got 1, 2, and 3 pistons in already. I'm gonna put number 4 in here. Oil it all up really good. Doesn't hurt to have a little extra lubrication. The bearing. Okay, set it in the right way. They are numbered. Right here on the cap and the connecting rod, both have numbers stamped in. My ring compressor. There it is. Rings at the right spot. You don't want to have the end of each ring straight up and down from each other. That should be good. Okay. Okay, got the piston and rings all lubed up, the bearing, it's got oil on it. Put the ring compressor in here. Already put number 1, 2, and 3 in. Number 4. Okay. Set that right there. Take the end of the hammer. Just like that. I have the connecting rod all the way so the piston will be at bottom dead center. And put the cap on. Okay, just like that. A little more oil in around the edge. Okay. And we'll go put the cap on, like that one. Torque the bolts 50 foot-pounds, the book says. Okay. Put the connecting rod cap on. Get it rolled up here. It does go a specific direction. This has number 4 there on the corner. If you can see that, it matches up. And there's a number 4 on the connecting rod also. Put that up. Got oil on my face. Okay, one bolt. 2. It was not fun lying under here cleaning all the gunk off everything. My face is completely black last night. Okay, torque these down. Okay, till it clicks. Click. Click. Check it again. Click. Click. 50 foot-pounds. Okay. Only 2 more to go. And then we can put the oil pickup on. Okay. So all the pistons are in now. It didn't go too bad. They all went in pretty easily. Got the oil pickup back on. I'm going to put some gasket maker on top of this old gasket that stayed stuck to the oil pan. Put some more gasket maker on that and put that back up. There's quite a few bolts to hold the oil pan in. The oil pan's part of the structure of the tractor, so it has all the little bolts that actually bolt to the motor. And then we got 2 big bolts on each side in the front that go to that front bracket there, and then 2 big bolts in the back that bolt to the back of the transmission with 2 big bolts there. So it's, yeah, got big frame rails and part of the oil pan as whole structure of the tractor. Okay, got the head on the table here, trying to clean the valves up, lap them. Figured I might as well do it while the head's off. Okay, I got my valve spring compressor on. I got the little, can't see, in there. There's little tabs. It's these little things, these little guys. Hold the valve to hold the spring from coming off the valve. Get them out, which is the easy part. Getting them back in, much harder. This is an exhaust valve. Loosen the valve spring. Cap comes off, spring, and the valve can come out the bottom. Ooh, that one's got a lot of carbon on it. It's really bad. Okay, clean it up, get it lapped, move on to the next one. Getting ready to put this valve back in. Just got done lapping it. This one came out pretty good. There ain't a whole lot of pitting in the seat. The exhaust valves are definitely worse than the intake valves, but they're coming out decent. Put this valve back in and got 4 more to go. Okay, I'm using this valve grinding compound. Put a couple dabs of that on. This is the last valve I gotta do. It's an exhaust valve. Number 1. Put some of that on. Spray some WD-40 down the hole. Spray some on the stem. Get the valve back in. Okay. Drill on. Just put the drill on lightly. I don't need to clamp down too hard on it. Back and forth a few times. Okay, I got the head back on. You can see it has some copper stuff down there. It's because I sprayed it with this copper spray gasket sealer. I used the old head gasket over again. I do have a head gasket for one of these, but I don't want to use it up on something I'm not sure if it's going to run yet for sure. So we'll spray it with this. I've had good luck with this in the past, so we'll try it again here. I'm going to start doing the torque sequence here. Step 1, 50 to 65 foot-pounds. Step 2, 75 to 85. Final step, 105 to 115. My phone would focus here. There you go. You can see you start in the middle and work out to the ends. Yeah, I gotta put the injector lines on and the manifolds and see if it does something. So you saw it had it running. That's the most it ran though. After we shut it off, it wouldn't start again. We did a lot of cranking and messing around and it just wouldn't start. And I came to the conclusion that something's wrong with the pump. So this pump here, took the side cover off, and the whole time this throttle just stiff and doesn't move nice. Well, when you turn the fuel shut off, it broke something in the governor housing here. It doesn't feel nice. Like, it should move nice and free like this one. So now we're gonna install this pump and try again. Okay, put the exhaust manifold and intake manifold back on. Put the valve cover back on. Gotta put water back in it and the fan back on it. Tighten the belts. Now you gotta hook up the front hydraulic oil pump, which I don't think I'm gonna do that right now. I'll do that a little later. Well, took it for its first test drive. This tire wouldn't hold air before I even started. Rim, completely junk fucking rim. This one was on the rim, but as you can see, the rim gave up life on this one. I'm letting all the calcium run out before I put it back in the shop. So overall, didn't go too bad. I got one little oil leak from the mechanical fuel pump dress, which that's no big deal. Take that off, seal it up, put it back on. Not using it, using the electric one to start with. So yeah, put the fuel tank back on. Try to hook the hydraulic pump up so we have brakes, and the rest of the hydraulic system hopefully works. I guess we'll find out. Okay, it's been a week or so. I washed the tractor before I put it in here. Got the other tires put on it. And we got the oil pump hooked up. If you can see that down there. The flex coupler's in, the coupler's on the oil pump. Put oil in it. Nothing started leaking yet, which is surprising because who knows how long it's been since this tractor's actually had hydraulic oil in it. I'm going to try to fire it up here in a little bit, see if it actually has power steering and hydraulics and brakes. So we'll see. Hopefully it all goes good and doesn't blow anything, and maybe it'll actually all function. Well, I started it for a split second, and then, well, we have a big mess. All the oil's coming out here, which looks like there's a lot of water with it, which I thought I got all the water out of the system. I think there's a plug missing on the bottom of this accumulator for the lift arms in the back, which I probably have one. I just gotta go see if I can find it, and we'll try again. Okay, started it again. Put the plug in the back that was missing. Stole it off one of the other parts tractors. That stopped leaking. Drove it front a little bit and back, and well, something else blew. I'm not exactly sure where. I think it's something under the power steering up front here. I'll have to look a little harder and figure that out now. Okay, got the intake hooked up, fuel tank back on. Worked on the wiring some. Put a fuel pump in the spot. Got that wired into the key so it turns on and off with a key. Got the oil leak fixed up front, but the power steering does not work, unfortunately. I can fix it, just gotta take the whole big thing out of the front, the power steering rack, I guess you could call it. And I don't really have time to do that right now, so that's gonna be a later project. But otherwise, it should be about ready to put the hood back on. And well, I need a seat yet too, I guess. But